welcome back to another video. So in today's video we are going to be doing another Premier League review, looking at Gameweek 12 of the Premier League season. This is the last game week before another international break, and the last international break really until we really get into the Christmas period, so this is quite a big game week. So we're going to have a look, go through the games, and we'll also at the end do a little, look at the table and review as it is international break. As always, give me your thoughts on the games, and let's begin with Wolves 2, Spurs 1. Goals from Brennan Johnson and Pablo Sarabia and Mario Lemina in the 91st and 97th minute. Insane. Absolutely incredible scenes. Yeah, one of the latest comebacks you'll see. 91st and 97th minute. Mental. Now, if we start with Wolves, it was thoroughly deserved, to be honest. Like, you look at the stats. It's 17 shots to 6 for on target. Wolves played fantastic in this game. I think they definitely deserved at least a point. They deserved to win the game, in fact. So to win it in the way they did is superb. I thought it was very interesting as well how once they got the equaliser, they still pushed on. It wasn't like they just sat back and settled for the point. They went and tried to get that winner and they got it. So I was really impressed by Wolves in that sense. And you know what, I think Wolves are one of those teams where I think they're going to be a bit of a giant killers. They already have been. All of the big boys they've faced this season, they've caused big problems for, especially at home. At home against the big boys, Wolves are tough. Wolves are very, very tough because they beat Man City at home, they beat Spurs at home now, they drew to Newcastle at home, probably should have beat them because of that penalty dodgy decision. Even away from home, Man United, they really should have won that game. They should have got a penalty, but VAR robbed them there. So Wolves are one of those teams where they're just going to play well against these bigger sides, and I've said it all season, really, that's been their main thing. Against those bigger sides, they do fantastic, and it was another one of those again today, and another big win for them. Fantastic finish and goal by Pablo Sarabia, by the way, as well. Absolutely superb. Now, as for Spurs, on the other hand, well, I think there's one word, very simple to describe this, is naive. Naive and just poor game management from Spurs. Now, in general, Spurs didn't play the best. As I said, I thought Wolves were by far the better team in this game, thoroughly deserved a victory. Spurs were not at their best at all, but I can excuse them for that because you look at the team they had a lot of injuries, red cards, etc. Like, look at the back line, that's not the best. So I understand why they were struggling a little bit in this game. However, the naivety and poor game management is a bit of a concern because it was 90th minute, 1-0 up. They're getting the ball, they're playing it out, and they're, just be sensible with the ball. Fine, if you want to play out, fine. I have no problem with that, but just play simple passes, keep the ball, don't do anything silly. Instead, Dyer, who just lumps it up there to Kulusevski, mistimes it, they go score, and then even then for the second goal, giving away a stupid foul, quick free kick, and they get caught out, not tracking runners, etc. So really poor game management, a bit of naivety there from Spurs, who, without Maddison, Van de Ven, you're seeing now the depth and the problems they have, but fantastic for Wolves. Alright, next up, Arsenal 3, Burnley 1. Goals from Leandro Trossard, William Saliba, Zinchenko, and Josh Brownhill. There was also a red card in this for Fabio Vieira. first goal was really, really weird. I've never really seen anything like that. There wasn't actually a celebration for the goal because Trossard taps in, but he kind of get clatters in between the goalie and the post. So like he's on the floor, and everyone's sort of like, "Oh no, is he okay?" And I think a lot of people are like, "Is the goal standing?" The ref like runs over, medics come on, and like no one's celebrating. I think like Gabriel, I think I saw him like jumping around trying to get everyone to celebrate. Everyone's like, "Oh, is Trossard okay?" But he gets up, everyone claps him, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, we're 1-0 up now. So that was pretty funny. Now for Arsenal in general, this was a bit of a weird one by them in terms of their performance, because it wasn't really vintage Arsenal, but they showed a different way of playing and winning. In fact, 2 goals came from set pieces, or well, the Zinchenko one, not directly, but kind of. And a lot of the game was through set pieces. They troubled Burnley a lot like that, and they weren't at their silkiest best in terms of attacking. However, they got the job done and managed to find a way to get a victory, which is all that really matters at this stage. The red card I thought was fully justified. No real complaints Fabio Vieira can have with that one. Zinchenko, fantastic strike for his goal. Tomiyasu, for the Burnley goal, really, really poor though by him. That was only the real problem I had with that, I guess. Got absolutely bullied off the ball by Koleosho, which is pretty bad if you're Tomiyasu, because, well, one, Koleosho's like not big and he's like just a kid, so like you shouldn't really be getting bullied like that off the ball. Raya made a couple decent saves, it was alright in that game, but yeah, not the most fluid football, but a different way of winning, and that's all that matters going into this international break. On some decent form, Arsenal. As for Burnley, now to be honest, I actually thought this was one of their better performances. I thought this was much better by Burnley compared to other games, other previous weeks where I've kind of slated them quite badly for how they played. I thought Burnley were pretty decent in this game. When you take all things into account, they are going away from home against Arsenal. That's one of the most difficult fixtures in the league right now. And they went there, and as I said, they stopped Arsenal from playing this fluid football, which we're used to. Arsenal resorted to set pieces, etc., to get past Burnley, which is a bit annoying if you're Burnley, because you're getting done by set pieces. Against a team like Arsenal, that's something which you want to be having on lock. Interestingly, I heard that this is the first time this season that it was an unchanged side, which is, I guess, a sign that Burnley are sort of finding who they actually want to play and their best side, and I think you can definitely tell there's a bit of continuity forming. It was a better performance by them, and yeah, I think we can take a couple positives from that. Alright, next up, Crystal Palace 2, Everton 3, Eberiche, Eze, Odsonne Edouard, Vitaly Mikalenko, Abdoulaye Doucouré and Idrissa Gueye all scored in a 5-goal thriller, really. An absolutely mad game. So if we let's start with Everton. So a massive win for Everton. Yeah, big win away from home against Selhurst Park. These are 2, I would say, mid-table teams, and Everton are fully proving to people who doubted them that they are well and truly a mid-table, even potentially top half team. And Dyche Ball is well in true effect here. They played fantastic in this game. They deserve the victory. Carvalho and Doucouré up top, fantastic again. Harrison good. Mikalenko, he's been getting him once for goals and assists recently as well, which is is nice to see. I thought, the only blemish I would say is, I think it was the second goal. Yeah, but Odson Edwards' goal, the defending was absolutely horrific by Tarkowski and Pickford. Bit of a mix-up there, and that was quite bad. And a couple of times the defending was a little bit rash, but like Bramthwaite and stuff. However, overall, Everton, great performance, big win away from home against Palace. 3 goals scored yet again. The goals are starting to fly in now for Everton, which is fantastic if you're an Everton fan. As for Palace, well, look, losing to Everton, you can't be too disappointed about that, but what I thought this game was really about, this was the Eze show, to be honest. It was an absolute masterclass by Eberechi Eze. His first start back from injury, and you can clearly see how much they missed him, because everything went through him in this game. He was doing everything, running through all of the Everton defence, terrorising them at points. Of course, got his goal with the penalty, which was calmly dispatched. He won the penalty himself. He could have also had another pen potentially. He got put for diving. It was not dive, it was contact. There was enough in that, to be honest, for VAR to intervene, so I think that was a fair decision. But Eze played fantastic. Also, which is another good sign for Palace, Michael Elise came off a bench to get some minutes in, so that's fantastic. See Elise and Eze now returning, hopefully at the international break. Both of them should be up to full fitness and be able to play full 90s together, which is going to drastically boost Crystal Palace. Alright, let's move on to Man United 1, Luton Town 0. We only got the game through Victor Lindelof in what was a bit of a dull affair, to be honest. I've just seen, sorry, I'm just reading here the YouTube page of Man United back-to-back Premier League wins, exclamation mark, like that's something to cheer about. Winning 1-0 against Luton and winning 1-0 versus Fulham. Anyway, I did think you know what, let's start with Luton actually. I think Luton can definitely hold their heads up high with this one. They went to Old Trafford and they held them out until the 59th minute. Did pretty well defensively, really solid. Had a couple moments for himself. Onana produced a fantastic save against Carlton Morris. They score that, then potentially 1-0 up. That's a different game. I think the only thing for them is they're probably just so frustrated about that goal they conceded, because to concede like that is one of those where it can definitely be avoided. And I said it earlier about Burnley, when you come up against those bigger sides, the goals you really want to be conceding are, I guess, those individual bits of brilliance or really nice 1-2 patterns of play where the quality just shines through. You can't do much about. What's frustrating is when you're that weaker side and you concede a goal like this one where it's sort of a bit scrappy, ball comes into the box like that. Those ones you really want to be dealing with, so that was a bit frustrating. But for Luton, decent performance, almost got something against United, and definitely building on that draw against Liverpool. They're proving that they're going to be a bit difficult for some of those top sides. Now, if we move on to Man United, blunt, that is the word to describe them, blunt. So wasteful. You look at that, 15 shots and only 4 of them went on target. We had the same amount of shots on target as Luton, with 64% of possession. Now, I actually thought the chance creation, they created quite a few chances actually. However, none of them were big opportunities, which is still a bit of a problem. Chance creation for Man United. However, the chances they got just didn't go in. Just this attack, just was a huge win for Bournemouth, I believe. Their first home victory of the season. I really can't remember who their first win of the season was against, but it's their second win of the season. Big going into the international break to get that job, and they thoroughly deserved it. Look at the stats. 19 shots, 10 on target for them. They were fantastic, and Iraola ball, I guess, is starting to flow now properly. I said this at the start when Bournemouth were not doing too well. I said their performances are good, just give them time and things will click, and it looks like things are starting to click here. Their pressing, as has really been the case all season, fantastic. Pressing from the front, incredible. Chance creation, amazing. Created so many chances. And they have that ability as well they showed in this game. It wasn't just pretty passes, they went direct quite a few times. And with their attackers, they've got a lot of athleticism. Slank is very good at linking up and holding up the ball. They've got actually really nice attacking depth. I didn't really realise this about Bournemouth, but Semenyo, Cliver, Tavernier, these are good players. They've got Brooks available, Hammer Traore, Dango Kudara and Sinistera coming off the bench. That's pretty good. So their attack was doing really, really well in this game, and overall just fantastic victory for Bournemouth, thoroughly deserved and definitely needed for them against a good side. Now, as for Newcastle, this is disappointing, losing 2-0 to Bournemouth. These are games if you want to be up there challenging in those top oppositions, you can't really drop points against a team like Bournemouth. However, I will give them the benefit of a doubt. I'm giving them a pass here today. I'm giving them the pass, Newcastle, because if we just have a look at this team, with Sheffield and their bench, I think it kind of sums it up. So Pope, Trippier, Share, fine. Share's just come back from injury. Lascelles, not first choice centre back. Lewisall, not first choice left back. Joe Willock, fine. Sean Lonsdale, fine. Lewis Miley, Premier League debut. Joel Linton in the forward line. He's a midfielder. Anthony Gordon playing up front because Isaac and Wilson are gone. Almiron got injured. And then look at the bench. Oh God. Ben Parkinson comes on for his debut. Matt Ritchie had to come on in the front line. Tino Livramento had to come on. Emil Croft. Dummett, they had 2 goalies. The Bournemouth bench was by far better than the Newcastle bench, which is just really unfortunate for Newcastle. They have so many injuries right now. You really have to feel for them. There's not really much they can do. It wasn't a great performance, but as I said, they didn't even have a striker available because both of them were injured. So there's not really much they could do. Interestingly, I saw a video of Kieran Trippier and the Newcastle fans sort of confronting him after the game. I think that was a bit poor from the Newcastle fans. I understand it's very, very far trip, and losing 2-0 against Bournemouth not the best, but come on, look, it happens. As Trippier said, they have a lot of injuries, so they did the best they could, didn't get a result. There's no need for them to get that angry, and I understand Trippier, but fantastic win for Bournemouth. Alright, into Sunday's games. Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1. Goals from Anthony Robertson with an own goal, John McGinn, Ollie Watkins and Raul Jimenez. Let's start with Villa here. So Villa, fantastic win yet again at Villa Park. Huge victory. I think that's 13th straight victory at home. Good to bounce back after a disappointing loss to Forest last weekend. And I guess Villa are sort of becoming inevitable now, at home at least, against these teams. I said, Newcastle, these are the teams that you kind of have to be beating if you want to be in and around there. And Villa are doing exactly that at home. In terms of individual performances, I thought Yuri Tielemans, interestingly, he started the game and he was actually really good. But John McGinn, for me, was the star of the game. He was absolutely superb. Got himself a goal, which was really, really nice goal as well. He was sensational. Ollie Watkins managed to get a goal, but oh my word, I don't know how he didn't grab another. He had a open goal and header. Just, oh god, it was a shocking miss. But yeah, Watkins has that in him. Diaby I thought was pretty good as well. Overall, just a really, really solid performance by Villa. Fulham, look, they gave it a go. They did give it a go. They tried their best, but they're coming up against a Villa side who are very good. Aston Villa at home as well. It's always going to be tough. Fulham actually had quite a few chances as well. They're a bit toothless though in attack, but it was really nice to see though Raul Jimenez managed to grab himself a goal, which is fantastic for him and his confidence. But yeah, just difficult day out for Fulham. I love the goals as well, were a bit unfortunate, like the Anthony Robertson goal, but Villa keep marching on. Brighton 1, Sheffield United 1, goals from Simon Adingra and Adam Webster own goal, and there was a red card in this game for Mohamed Dahoud. Again, I thought the red card was justified for Dahoud. Simon Adingra's goal was fantastic for me. Now let's start with Brighton. That is now 6 games they are winless. 6 games winless in the Premier League at least, which is really concerning. Brighton, for the first time, are really going through a bit of a patch under De Zerbi of bad form. Things aren't clicking for them. However, I actually thought in this game it was one of their better games out of those 6 winless games. I thought this was one of their better performances. I remember last week against Everton, I believe, I was saying that that was quite a bad performance. However, this week, I thought their performance was good, and they were kind of just unlucky, just really wasteful in front of the goal. They had quite a few chances going forward. First off, I thought they were really good, but yeah, they just failed to capitalise on those chances. The red card happens, and it's, to be honest, it's pretty unfortunate. They get a red card and they concede an own goal. That is a bit of an unfortunate one for Brighton, but that's what you get for not really killing the game off. After you get the first, you have to go ahead and get the second to give yourself a bit of a buffer zone. They didn't do that and they got punished. So yeah, although it was a better performance, Sheffield United at home, that's a game we really need to be winning, and yeah, things aren't looking amazing right now for Brighton, but I think they'll get back to it eventually. As for Sheffield, huge unbeaten in 2, let's go, unbeaten in November. The comeback, the Sheffield revival is on. No, I'm joking. In all seriousness though, that's a good result. Away from home against Brighton, picking up a point, that's fantastic for Sheffield. And again, it's just building upon their confidence. Slowly and slowly, picking up these points. Last week getting their first win, now getting a point away from home as well. This is going to help them going into that international break now. There's a bit of positivity around the place, which is absolutely crucial. For the first time, they have a couple of weeks now to just sit on this positivity, work on a couple of things, and that's really good for them. To be honest, I thought it was a little undeserved. As you can see, we only had 1 shot on target, but who cares? As I said, they stayed in the game. It was only 1 goal in it. Red card happens, game shifts. They could have almost nicked it as well at the end, which would have been sensational. But look, they got a point in the end against Brighton, which is fantastic for them. Let's move on to Liverpool 3, Brentford 0. 2 goals from Mo Salah and 1 from Diego Jota. So a pretty convincing victory for Liverpool. Mo Salah continuing Salah stuff, he is having one of his better seasons now this year. I think Salah is definitely in contention for challenging, I reckon, Erling Haaland for the Golden Boot this year. I still think Haaland will get to him, will win it, but I think Salah is going to be a bit closer this year to Haaland. Salah's looking really, really nice this year. Really inevitable now at this point. Darwin Núñez, really nice flick on for his goal. Salah, Darwin Núñez and Salah have a little bit of a partnership going on, to be honest. It's slowly growing into place. I thought both this game for Liverpool, convincing victory in terms of the front line, they were fantastic. Van Dijk was great again, and sort of a general point about Van Dijk, I think he's gone on the radar this year in terms of he's really stepped up and looking slowly back to his best days as a centre back. However, having said that, 17 shots, 10 on target, great, 3 goals, 3-0. Liverpool still gave away quite a few chances, and Alexander made quite a few saves. Brentford, if they were a bit more clinical, decisive on those counters and chances, could have had a couple of goals, to be honest. And that's been a theme almost every game this season. Liverpool have been giving up chances, and I think that's not because of the defence. I think that's because of the midfield. I don't think they're getting enough cover in there, to be honest. The midfield has its pros in terms of it's quite attacking and helps Liverpool score a lot of goals, but I do think it can expose Liverpool at points. However, having said that, they still got a clean sheet. They scored 3 goals. They go into the international break with another victory. They're well and truly right now in the title race. They come back after the international break against Man City, so if they win that, then yeah, things are looking good for them. Do I think they'll win the league? No. I think, as I said, that deficiency in terms of letting teams have chances is going to come back to bite them. However, they're performing very well, and in front of goal are probably the best team in the league right now. Now, as for Brentford, difficult day out, but as I said, they had a lot of chances. Like, look at that, 16 shots. They just couldn't put them away, and they were really poor on those counter-attacks and in front of goal, which is something Thomas Frank would be very annoyed about, because actually they had a couple, 2 or 3 big chances when it was 0-0, and if those go in and they go in 1-0 up, it could potentially be a different game. So yeah, Brentford would be a little bit annoyed about that, but look, it's Anfield, they weren't really expecting much anyway. Right, West Ham 3, Nottingham Forest 2, Lucas Paquetá, Jared Bowen, Thomas Soucek, Taiwo Awoniyi and Anthony Elanga with the goals. Now, even though there was 5 goals in this game, it wasn't actually the best game, to be honest. It was a bit poor. 2 teams who are very similar for me in terms of the way they play, the styles and stuff, everything really about them. It's very similar, which resulted in, quite a few goals, however not a lot of quality, I guess, in the game, or not free-flowing game, I should say. If we start with West Ham, I thought they started the game really well. The first 10-15 minutes, fantastic, grabbed an early goal, their pressing was fantastic, they got that goal for a little bit of an error by Forest, but also because West Ham were pressing quite high. However, they stopped that, I'm not sure why, and they let Forest grow back into the game. Areola made a fantastic save, absolutely fantastic save versus Taiwo Awoniyi, and after that, Forest didn't do too much, but West Ham were, I thought, a bit too passive, allowed them to go into that game. They go 2 goals down, and then West Ham, get into the game again, which is a bit of a common theme for West Ham right now. They almost they need to go a bit of a goal down, or for them to unleash the shackles a little bit, which they eventually did and eventually won the game. But chance creation for me, for West Ham, is they struggle a little bit in this game to create those chances. Areola for the Taiwo goal, yeah, it was the Taiwo goal. Yeah, probably should have done better with the first attempt at goal. However, West Ham, I said last week, they got West Hammed by Brentford. They couldn't deal with crosses, set pieces. In this game, West Ham reverted to type, and a lot of their goals were through set pieces, Jared Bowen, and crosses into box by Sojek, and yeah, returned to that. Got the win in the end, which is big. Performance, not the best, however, they definitely needed that victory. As for Forest, I thought Forest were quite poor in this game. Didn't really do too much. 10 shots, 5 on target. They'll be very disappointed though with the 2 goals. Jared Bowen, Sojek, corners, set pieces, conceding from those, crosses into the area. Forest are quite a big side. That's something they shouldn't really be doing. I know West Ham are good at that, but they should be dealing with that. And also a lot of individual errors in these goals. The first goal, Nicholas Dominguez with an error. Ola Aina almost cost his team a goal, and yeah, they were just a bit sloppy at the back, I thought, Forest. And Anthony Alanga, we'll get on to that guy. We'll get on to that guy in the at the end. But West Ham with an important victory there. Right, so to end off, we have Chelsea 4, Man City 4. One of the games of the season. Chelsea involved in another 4 goals thriller. Don't know what's happening to us, but yeah, seems like it. Alright, so goals. Game from Thiago Silva, Raheem Sterling, Nicholas Jackson, Cole Palmer, Erling Haaland, Gotta Brace, Akanji, and Rodri. Alright, let's start with City. Now, I thought City, this was one of their worst games of the season, to be honest, in terms of performances. Oops, I did not mean to do that. I thought City were really poor, really poor, and so uncharacteristic of them in terms of they were just sloppy on the ball, just really sloppy. They couldn't control the game. They were giving the ball away. Building the ball up from the back was just horrible by them. I don't know if it doesn't show here, but pass completion rate was so poor by them, and it's so unlike them. Usually a Man City team, the fundamental basis of a Man City team is they're going to keep the ball and you can't stop them. You try press them, they're going to just play out from you. But they couldn't cope. Man City couldn't cope. They were just constantly losing the ball. Your performances were absolutely horrific by the Man City defenders, especially Ederson for, I can't remember what goal it was. I think it was Sterling one. No, the Jackson one. Really poor parrying it. Carl Walker got absolutely beast up by Raheem Sterling, which is really strange because Sterling, Walker, he would have come up against him a lot in training for England, etc. Surely you should be aware of Sterling, what he's going to do, but he got destroyed. Ruben Diaz, probably the worst game I've ever seen of him. What is he doing for that last penalty? Just wipes out Broja for no reason. Rash, reckless, something you usually don't say about Diaz. Gvardiol, that was his worst game in a City shirt. He got ripped apart on that left hand side. Even Rodri was losing the ball. Jeremy Doku got locked up by Reece James. It was really bad by City. I've never really seen City this bad in a long time, to be honest. But they still didn't lose. They almost won it, in fact. They almost won it. If it wasn't for Ruben Diaz's stupidness, they would have won it. But yeah, I've ever seen for the last year. In the last calendar year, that was one of the worst performances I've seen. And they still didn't lose. That is a very promising sign. They still didn't lose. They still scored 4 goals. But yeah, not good. Not good for Man City going into the international break with a performance like that. But let's go on to Chelsea, because, oh boy, I'm proud of my boys. I'm proud of my boys. My Chelsea boys are, finally showing something. Finally, I don't have to be embarrassed to be a Chelsea fan on this channel. Finally. Right, let me just go through some of the individual performances first. Robert Sanchez, huge shout out to this guy. Made a fantastic save versus Erling Haaland. Made a couple good saves. Was good in this game. Again, I have my doubts, but I've criticised him. But big up to him. Disasi, a really good performance by him. Again, it's gone under the radar, I think, by a lot of fans of Chelsea, especially, about how good Disasi has been this season. He has been really, really solid. Cucurella, he's been solid. He has been solid. We'll get onto the penalty, but Thiago Silva coming up clutch again with a big goal and a monster performance by him. As always, Reece James, as I said, locked up Doku. Doku's been piecing up everybody. Reece James put him on lock. Raheem Sterling, man of match for me. Incredible. As I said, destroyed Kyle Walker. Not many players can do that. Raheem Sterling, this season has been sensational and is honestly baffling. I don't know how he's not getting picked for England, especially when you consider Sterling was so trusted by Southgate and has done amazing for Southgate. Sterling, for me, is back to his best, and you can argue even, he's playing a very different style to what he was at City, so you can argue it was even better right now in terms of overall play. I would say it's better right now than when he was at City. Yeah, he still isn't getting picked for England, which is a bit weird, but anyway, fantastic by him. I needed him to step up this season, he's doing it. Enzo wasn't the best performance by him, to be honest. These are the games where you really want to step up by him when you pay all that money, but he wasn't the best. Cole Palmer, fantastic yet again. Composure for the penalty, brilliant against his former club with a statement there. Another player potentially could be getting an England call up soon. Conor Gallagher, big up to this guy as well, because again, I've doubted this guy. I didn't actually want him to stay at the club this season. I didn't want him starting. I didn't think he had the ability to play for Chelsea, but Gallagher, to be honest, has actually been our best midfielder this season so far. He was the best midfielder on that pitch, which is crazy when Caicedo and Enzo cost so much, but Gallagher has stepped up this season. Caicedo again wasn't the best performance by him. Jackson, had some dodgy moments, but got a goal again, which is just fantastic for his confidence. And the subs did pretty well when they came on. Gusto, fantastic. Broja, amazing for that. Penalty, great footwork by him. Now, in terms of general points about the game, I thought our pressing was fantastic. Really, really nice. It works both ways. I said Man City were bad on the ball. It was one of their worst performances. Walker was bad, Diaz was bad, etc. But that's also partly because Chelsea were so good and Chelsea played really well. Chelsea forced a lot of those errors through our good pressing in moments, through Sterling and Palmer's fantastic work, through Gallagher's work, and stuff like that. So yeah, really, really good. And the thing for me, which I'm so shocked by, is we've scored 4 goals. Open play, well, not open play, all of them, but we scored 4 goals back-to-back games. That's mental. When you consider goals have been an issue for us, That's insane. However, I'm a little bit annoyed because I think we were a better team. I actually think we should have won this game. But yeah, scoring 4 goals against Man City is insane. Who scores 4 goals against Man City? When was the last time these guys conceded 4? But we actually should have. We probably should have scored more, which is just a frustrating thing. Like, we played really, really well. Yeah, it's just annoying we didn't manage to get the victory in the end. The penalty decision for me, it's a pen. I know a lot of people don't want to give it, but I understand. Like, they're both tugging each other, but Cucurella, you can't really. It's annoying as the defender because if the striker's pulling you, refs don't care about that. But as a defender, you kind of just have to let him pull you. You can't pull back, otherwise it's a pen. So yeah, that was my verdict on it. But fantastic by Chelsea going into the international break. That is Arsenal. We should have won. Spurs beat them. Man City should have won. Now it's frustrating because we could have actually had 9 points from Arsenal, Spurs, City, which would be mad. But those are 3 of the hardest games we'll play this season, and we have come out of it unscathed, which is really, really promising. Alright, so to wrap up, I'm going to do my player of the week, worst player of the week, and VAR mess up of the week, and then we're also going to have a look at the Premier League table. So, my player of the week is, it was close, it was very close. Now, honourable mention to Raul Jimenez for finally scoring, I think 18 months it took him, but my player of the week is in this game, and my player of the week is Dominic Solanke with a brace versus Newcastle, giving Bournemouth a vital win. They needed that victory and he stepped up massively, so I'm giving him player of the week. My worst player of the week has to be in West Ham Forest game. Anthony Elanga, absolutely embarrassing. This guy scored to make it 2-1 in the 63rd minute, and he took off his shirt. Like, what? And then 40 seconds later, they score, and then they lose the game. Like, if you scored that in like the 80th minute, I would kind of understand. 63rd minute, why are you taking off your shirt? And then you can see straight after, and you lose the game. Absolutely comical. Now VAR mess up. For once, huge credit. VAR actually didn't get anything wrong in my opinion. There was no shocking ref decision. Maybe there was a couple where you could maybe argue the other way, but I thought VAR for once and referees were fine, which is something I never thought I would say. But they finally had a week where we didn't do too much. Did not mean to do that. But let's have a look at the Premier League table before we go then, going into the international break. Man City are still on top with 28 points. Liverpool and Arsenal are in second and third on 27. Spurs in fourth. Villa just 1 point behind in fifth. Man United are somehow in sixth. I don't know how that has happened. Newcastle 7th, Brighton 8th, West Ham 9th, and there we go, Chelsea, we've made the top half, let's go. 10th place for us, Brentford 11th, Wolves 12th, Palace 13th, Everton 14th, Forest 15th, 16th Fulham, and then Bournemouth have managed to get out of the relegation zone for the first time this season. And in the relegation zone are the 3 promoted clubs. Burnley, bottom of the table. Sheffield are off the bottom, and Luton in there. So not looking good for the promoted sides right now. Top of the table looking very, very interesting, very, very open. The race for Europe again looking very, very interesting, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, then please leave a consider